Oops.
All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to Serious Star Trek, episode 2. Today we're going to be talking about Star Trek Prodigy, I think. But first, as always, I am Dr. Johnny Price, PhD, joined to my other left by Larry Young, uh, CMD, comics direct. I don't know, whatever. And of course,
Yeah.
Dantron 7000 over here. And today we're just gonna start jumping right into it. And if you have any questions or anything, leave a comment. We can see the comments, so keep it civil or don't. I don't care. And let's get going. All right. First of all, has everyone seen Star Trek Prodigal Son?
Prodigy? That one? Prodigy.
Yeah, Prodigy.
Yeah,
Because
I watched it.
it
I
makes me
actually
think
watched.
of '90s techno the whole time.
I watched.
But yeah.
I watched this week's too. But man, did you hear? I don't know. I don't know anybody yet. This happens to me on shows that I end up liking, though. That everybody's an archetype, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, there's the Rocky girl, and there's
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate
It's a
Derek, and
twist. It's a Shyamalan twist that she's a girl.
right. It's. I was talking to my wife about that this morning. I was like, why not? Like you're
Yeah,
gonna have
why
a
not?
big rock guy if he's on the Fantastic Four, or if he's Korg on Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
But hey, it's a cute girl. Okay,
Yeah.
the Rocky people have to come out from between the legs of their Rocky mom. So
I mean, hey,
why
everyone's got a mom,
yeah
right?
why wouldn't there be little Rocky girls?
Hey,
I don't know.
whatever. But you're absolutely right. It does feel like the entire thing was just drafted by TVTropes.com. Um, so
I love I love that
uh,
when we were trading our little things. TV trope, like it was written by TVTropes.com.
yeah.
I mean,
Um, Well, I mean, should we
funny.
just kind of like? I assume everyone watching us has also seen Star Trek Prodigy, but maybe we should just go through real quick. Like, it's this show about these like ostensibly like teenagers who break out of prison, and there's like a quasi love interest, and then there's like they find a ship. It's a Federation ship, and hologram Janeway shows up, and through context, you, the viewer, find out that it's a cadet ship, and like cadets are supposed to run it, right? So that's pretty good. But also, the big bad guy wants the ship back. I don't know. I watched the third episode at lunch today, and it was much better than the first two. Let me say that. But yeah, so that, I mean, is that pretty good, fair summation of what's going on here? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I have just
yeah.
one thing to add there about it. Just the entire show is the audience in. Like usually,
Mm-hmm.
there's one dumb character when you're choosing that sort
Mm-hmm.
of TV trope line. There's one
Yeah.
character that doesn't know what's going on, so you have to explain that to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one thing I had against this. It's like the entire everybody you introduce, you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And I I
Very
had that
odd.
problem. Yeah, I had that problem when I was watching it and just listening to you, where you were like trying to contextualize like what the main antagonism is, and I just don't. I don't understand what they're
Well,
trying to
there's the big
do or
bad.
fight against.
There's the big bad, and he runs the prison, right? And then the
Yeah, but and
main
it's
lead,
her dad, and but it just
right,
seems kind
right.
of like so.
And he
It
has a
seems kind of so
personal
what to me.
relationship. The main character, I don't know any other names. The main character has a personal relationship with the daughter, and I can't tell if they're like friends or enemies or frenemies, as the kids say. I don't know what's going on there. I don't really care, but um the whole thing, it is kind of weird. And okay, so I should take a step back because um I have no idea if these shows are actually popular, because the whole tagline here is like, this is Star Trek for kids. This is a kids Star Trek show, right? Now it's in very much the same vein as or Star Wars Rebels, Clone Wars, and I know Rebels and Clone Wars are popular with middle-aged fat guys like myself. Like, I know those are popular, right? I have no idea if they're popular with kids. So, does a show like this actually resonate with kids? Is this something like a kid would actually watch in the first place? Because I was trying to watch the third episode in that lens, right? And if I'm a kid watching this, and it's like, oh, that's cool. Maybe this is something that I can like play on the playground and be like, oh yeah, I'm Holodeck Janeway, whatever. And then you find out more. This is like, then from like the producer side, this is their way into this universe, Star Trek universe. It makes you want to find out more information, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It absolutely does.
Yeah.
I love what you're saying about Janeway because I know you love that character.
I love Janeway.
And I'm putting this together for you. Lobs are a very important part of the game, as you know.
Yes.
And we love the uniforms, right? And the insignia. Everybody knows about that. So when do you think this goddamn show is taking place? Why is Janeway's sort of DS9 stuff got a curve on her shoulder instead of tapering to a point? And why do they have a new insignia? Is that all just explained away by that's like the Protostar stuff?
Well, so I don't like cartoons for some reason. Like cartoons, I give them much more of a pass on like stuff like insignias and uniforms because it's a cartoon, right? It's stylized, it's whatever, right? Same thing with Lower Decks. Like Lower Decks gets some things where I'm like, if this was live action, I'd be fucking furious, but whatever, So like I'll give them that. Like, okay, it has to be. I mean, they're in the Delta Quadrant. The ship somehow got into the Delta Quadrant. They kind of hinted that there's like this other type of propulsion system that the Tellarite doesn't know what it is. But there's 2 warp cores, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's
okay. Yeah.
Well, it's running 2 different things, right? That's
my other problem, and I have no idea how to find this out, but I need to know the level of involvement with Alex Kurtzman, because, and I say that not because I'm obsessed with Alex Kurtzman, but he does not understand Star Trek, like fundamentally in any way, shape, or form. Does not understand Star Trek. So if like that was like a Kurtzman note where it's like maybe it should have 2 warp cores, like I could totally see that. Right, I guess. Right, does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it.
But if it wasn't, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. It's been 3 episodes. Give them the benefit of the doubt where it's like, okay, maybe they're saying that for a reason. Like they clearly set up the other propulsion system for presumably some payoff later.
That 2 warp core thing is obviously they're setting something up for
right.
There's 2
I swear to God, if it's the spore drive, I'm gonna murder someone.
You know that's what they're doing, right?
It can't be.
It's the new spore drive.
It can't be a spore drive.
Just get ready, man.
Oh, Jesus.
Get ready.
It's gonna be a spore drive.
Executive produced by Alex Kurtzman.
I can't handle it.
Hey, check out. We got Extreme Hot Dog goes. The party can
Extreme Hot Dog. So yeah, Rhett's
and Rhett too, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say Rhett Casala brings up a good point. Like, this is very obviously a Star Wars show with Janeway in it, right? I mean, every single review, positive reviews, negative reviews, every single review is like, this is Star Wars with Star Trek insignia plastered on it. Which, ironically enough, is what we all said about Discovery. It's just a generic sci-fi show with Star Trek plastered on it. But anyway. Mm-hmm. That's right.
In my notes, I was like, yeah, just calling it Star Trek comes with an expectation, right? The expectation is that there is some Star Trek in it. Like, this week's episode, there was a little more Star Trek in it.
I was gonna say this one was a lot better than the first, I guess, 2 episodes. I don't know. I watched it at the same time. I don't know.
Those first,
I was so
it
was so boring.
Yeah, it was just clearly a Star Wars riff. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it was incredibly.
Anyway, but now this one's.
It was so boring. Did I mention it was boring? It was really boring.
Verified.
Anyway, that's enough
What
about
was
Star
that?
Trek Prodigy. And
Oh no, go on your riff about Jason Mantzoukas being a Tellarite.
what about it?
Well, it's just kind of a hard ask there, in that they don't draw him looking like any Tellarite we've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I mean, why would you even call him a Tellarite? Like,
Inaccurate. Data in error.
I mean, we have to talk about the Medusans at some point, right? Because
I
no one
would.
watching
Go
this,
ahead.
no one watching the show knows what a Medusan is. No, I don't
I
mean our
just
show.
love-
Our show, they all know what Medusans are. Anyone watching Star Trek Prodigy, like sincerely, does not
Right.
know what a Medusan is.
Right.
And
And
I
honestly,
think they did a pretty good job. I think they did a pretty good job of at least setting up the superficial, like, oh, we're non-corporeal beings, you know. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the only reason I know anything about this is because that's the only Star Trek episode that has a guy named Larry in it. So, you know, and I'm a Star Trek guy, so there's no way kids tuning in know the significance of that.
Yeah.
Chris Sagasag says, "I know," like we're still talking about Star Wars, and we told him we loved him.
Chris is an inspiration. He inspires me every day to buy toys. So yeah. So like that's the one with Diane Muldaur, right? The Medusan
Yes.
episode. Yeah.
Well, one of the ones with Diana Muldaur.
Yes. That's a great episode. Everyone should go watch it. So Eye of the Beholder, I believe.
Yeah, I forget.
I don't remember.
I forget what that one's called.
If it is Eye of the Beholder, I'm gonna be really impressed with myself. But
that's the one they introduced, the IDIC thing that you could buy for $2.50.
The very obvious Gene Roddenberry cat that everyone has decided is like this holy mantra as a part of Star Trek. I don't get it. Yeah, it's very odd. Gene Roddenberry was a fucking hack.
Yikes. You know,
I mean,
in the best way, right? I mean,
yeah, in the best way, yeah. I mean, he clearly
his powers for good.
Like he tried. He clearly had a vision. He rewrote episodes that he didn't get credit for. So he had a very heavy hand in the whole series, getting up to TNG and the movies. But I mean, he's not God. Like, come on, people. IDIC, it's not a real thing. It's a thing that he made up so he could sell pennants at like conventions. Like, get out of here.
But that's why I love him, because he just made everybody say the great bird of the galaxy is. He started like so many things about Star Trek and its marketing.
Of course,
is just people just think take it for granted now, like the whole letter writing campaign and the the ancillary stuff. Like, we have to have short stories and books now. You know, that's all.
Right.
Hey, Sagasag, did you see in the quote Sagasag schooled us? Of course.
Is there in truth no beauty?
Is there in truth?
I was close. Close.
Eye of the Beholder, I think, is like a cartoon episode title, isn't it?
Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Who cares? It's only Star Trek.
It's not like it's something we spend our lives talking about.
So speaking of that, can I just go back to Prodigy for a second?
Sure. Yeah.
One thing, what did you think of the titles, man? Like, they were cut so quick, it was like watching MTV or something. Like,
what do you mean?
You're so used to not so much. So a Star Trek show, the titles they're just a hair bit from ponderous, right? There's a slow sweeping, like, we're going to space. And everyone, even the dopey Enterprise one, at least you had like the idea of some scope, right? And this one I just saw this morning, and I don't know if I needed some more coffee or what, but it was all like, you know, Star Trek, Nebula, exploding thing, what's going on? Hey, there's a rock guy in it. Is that Jason Mantzoukas' name? I don't know. And I just found it cut really fast, like the MTV editing.
Yeah,
that we're using.
Well, it's a fast-paced show.
I was wondering if that was just me.
I don't know. Discovery has ruined me for
Is it?
credits. So I mean, if I don't even watch them.
Yeah, I kind of don't. Yeah, but that it also goes to my point. It's just ponderous, right? Like they were
Mhm.
just ponderous in a different way.
Yeah.
I love
Hey,
that you
there we
think
go.
it's,
Mario's
that
got it.
Prodigy's
Mario's got the answer.
what do you say?
Eye of the Beholder is a TNG episode, and
Oh
the Eye
man,
of the Beholder
look
is
at that. He
TAS.
needs
Damn.
see
There you go.
that guy needs some
Mario
kind
to the
of
rescue.
we
Yeah.
we need a Price and Larry no prize kind of thing to give to people
Yeah,
because
right.
that we'll make it up. I'll make one up, and then Mario gets one.
Yeah.
He gets grandfathered in because that was awesome. Thank you, sir.
You get one Quatlu.
One Quatlu. Somebody's got to make Quatlus, right?
I mean,
I
someone.
gotta look that up.
I'm sure Tiffany can.
Yeah.
So Prodigy, the first episode was again, this goes back to my question, like, does anyone actually enjoy this type of show? Like, or like kids actually enjoying this type of show? I don't have any kids. I don't know. But I mean,
I can tell you, yeah, my anecdotal experience with my teenager that he loved Clone Wars and Rebels and has no interest in watching this show whatsoever because Discovery and Picard were so bad.
Well, that's the other issue.
A literal quote. So even if it is his kind of if it was his kind of thing, he would never know because they've poisoned the well. And I was like, that's pretty harsh. But that's how he eats food too. Like I eat the stuff I like and there's the stuff I don't like.
That's fair.
Exeter insignia. Almost.
Let's see.
Dantron, who do we have in the crew behind you there?
Yeah, what is going on in engineering down there?
Well, guys, working on the latest in technology for the, they always talk about the red shirts, right? So we needed a virtual red shirt. I think that's what Star Trek has always needed. So I want to bring in. I've also got these come in different sizes and so come in different shapes, different sizes, and do all kinds of different fun stuff. Luckily, they're disposable, just like guys. And I don't know if you've been noticing the Star Trek Nazi stuff that I've been putting up. I think this was just more proof of my dilithium conspiracy that I brought up last week. I just wanted, new photos have been released that show what really the Federation is really all about. That's my only contribution to this show besides here in the robotics lab. So,
is Shatner? Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Don't let me butt in. I'm just here to provide a little bit of extra fun while you guys regroup. So, I wish. Here's what I wish. Here's what I came busted in to say. I want to play the trailer for this thing, right? And you would think that would be okay. But before I play any clips, part of my engineering duties is I check them. I upload them to YouTube and I make sure they don't demonetize you. You can't play a trailer of this thing without getting your stream shut down or demonetized or whatever. So apologies to the fans that all I have is the silly slideshow going on. We'll try to do better.
CBS is real brutal about, like, they take down, like, even like positive reviews they'll take down if you show too much of like whatever show it is. It's ridiculous.
This thing's on Nickelodeon, right? You don't have to download that stupid Paramount thing, right, to watch it.
I think well, it was supposed to be on Nickelodeon originally. It's co-produced with Nickelodeon. I'm pretty sure they pulled they did this to Picard and Amazon as well, where at the last minute they pulled it and made you go through them. I think they pulled it. You have to go through Paramount, at least in the United States anyway. I'm not sure about international. They're so bad on international shit. Who the fuck knows? I don't know.
Well, and from this, from the slideshow thing that's going on, these stills that I am able to show you, this one especially, it's like you got the horizontal horizon or the diagonal horizon line.
Yeah.
It's just everything
Yeah.
you can. The warped lens, everything you can to breathe excitement into Star Trek. And I just don't know how much. Guys, how much longer does Star Trek have left in it? Like, can a franchise really like live forever? If you think about it, this was really the original, gigantic universe, right?
Yeah,
Paramount
yeah.
like had it to begin with before the MCU.
Oh yeah.
But it seems like it's sputtering a little bit. They don't have that guiding rudder like they do over at Marvel.
Well, they think they have Kurtzman. That's the worst part. They think Kurtzman is their Feige, and it's like, you people are fucking retarded. Like, what is going on with this shit? Like,
Verified.
I apologize to everyone in the audience. What I meant to say is William Shatner the first person to wear a Nazi uniform to go in space?
Could be. No, the answer is
He's
no.
done it multiple
Obviously,
times. He's done it multiple
they're all
times.
up there on the dark side of the moon.
They're all
We've all
up there.
seen. I could hip you to some YouTube channels if you want more info on that price.
I would love it. I love doing internet research. Yeah. So we've got our cast of characters, and they're going off on their adventure. I gotta say, I liked the third episode a lot more because it actually felt like, hey, we're going on an adventure now. This isn't just a Star Wars ripoff of General Grievous for some weird reason. But we're going on an adventure. There's a scientific anomaly that we flew into, and we have to get ourselves out of it by calling Mommy Janeway. And it was a lot better. It was a much better execution. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Look, I am always a proponent of being an informed hater, and that means watching those and then admitting if you like it.
Yeah. One of the things that I liked about this latest episode was the vehicle replicator, because that's one of the things that fanboys kind of kick around. That it's not so much in Star Trek, although that's a big deal. Like, how many shuttlecraft do you have? But in Space 1999, man, they were like blowing up an Eagle every week, and they only had a finite amount of resources, and it seemed like they weren't ever down an Eagle. But so it was just cool that, of course, technology that gives you whatever food you want can just give you whatever kind of like space bobsled you want too. I think that's awesome.
Well, and that's also a
It was
Voyager
cool to be
joke.
addressed, kind of like.
Yeah. But I was gonna say that's also a Voyager joke because they have like unlimited shuttles in the Delta Quadrant. So.
Right. Yeah. I knew that you would be up on that because you love Janeway.
I love Voyager. I love Janeway. I love the whole thing. It's great.
In that post-scarcity world, I feel like that is the big dividing line. Price, you said it last week, where it's like now they could synthesize dilithium. All right, now they could do where they couldn't do that kind of stuff before. They in the original vision of the original series, I feel like it was a fundamental shift in like kind of the philosophy of how that universe works.
I mean, yeah, it changes. I mean, if you can make oil, if you could remake oil, we'd have a much different propulsion situation politically. It would change.
Well, I don't know what effect it would have. Like, everybody would be in the holodeck all the time, you would think, right?
Oh,
And
yeah, yeah. The holodeck would be the most disgusting place ever invented.
Oh my God, who's got to clean the holodeck floors?
The lower decks.
It's a guy that looks like this. It's a blue guy.
It's a blue guy. Yeah, it's a blue guy on beta shift. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Apparently, Larry and
Oh,
Walker
yeah,
are in the
Walker,
same shirt right now.
Walker in our house, Thursday is Star Trek Day. I mean, every day is Star Trek Day, but Thursday especially. So he asked me, I'm like, "Hey, you wore your lower decks shirt last week. What are you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm just gonna grab the Rito shirt because I think that is one of the funniest jokes on that show." Speaking of, a Kevin Feige that they need, Like they should just give it to Mike McMahon. Boy, does that
Mike
guy get
McMahon.
Star Trek.
That guy's great. Yeah.
So anything, this shirt, of course, is from Lower Decks, and they're making fun of the disco shirt. So any joke where you're making fun of your own stupidity and then selling it is, I got $25 for that.
And you know
But
that Kurtzman is so, Kurtzman's so stupid. He thinks it's an homage. It's like, no, idiot, it's a joke.
I like this joke so much that I bought one for my kid too. So we're both wearing them today.
That's awesome.
It's good workout gear. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, there you go. I have a shirt. It says "Disco sucks," and I got in trouble with Mike Okuda about it.
You got to tell that story. Uncalled for.
Uncalled for. All caps.
Do it. Then we'll ask Mike to come on the show and we'll interview him.
Yeah, I'd love to have
about
Mike.
whether you told that story correctly or not.
I will talk to Mike Okuda about anything he wants.
But so tell everybody who Mike Okuda is, and then
Michael Okuda is possibly one of the most important people in Star Trek history, right? We got so him and his wife Denise Okuda. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. They do all the tech stuff. They do all the visual effects. They do all the they set up everything. They're the people who made the Delta, the Defiant insignia cannon. So yeah, they've been working since the movies, and they worked on TNG. They worked DS9, Voyager, Enterprise. I believe they consulted on Discovery, and then probably walked out and discussed. I hope. But yeah. Anything else? The Okudas. If you don't know the Okudas, just
But now tell the story of what happened with Disco Sucks and Mike.
Oh yeah, so I'm advertising my Disco Sucks T-shirt, because I want to make that sweet money, and out of nowhere, Mike Okuda just out of nowhere just types in all caps, uncalled for. I guess he was offended by my Disco Sucks T-shirt, as if I'm the first person in the world to ever say the phrase "Disco Sucks." It's not my fault they named their fucking ship Disco when the phrase in pop culture that exists with disco is "Disco Sucks." It's a phrase, it's a thing, it's a pop culture thing, right? This has been around since the fucking 70s. Disco sucks, right? There are T-shirts, there are tie-dye T-shirts, there are rainbow T-shirts, there are black and white T-shirts. There are a billion T-shirts in the world that say "Disco Sucks," and they name their fucking starship Disco. These people are morons. They gave their show the abbreviation STD. They said, "Hey, this new Star Trek show we're giving you, it's gonna make you bleed out your anus."
Verified.
I just don't.
You're on a roll today.
The world. I just don't.
Just keep going.
Just keep going. I think the world knows my views on Star Trek Discovery. I will say.
But
the
now,
first season
take
of Star
all
Trek
that.
Discovery. Yeah. Yes, please continue. Yes.
I take all that. Take all that now, and that's kind of how I feel about Voyager. We never really
at least
talked about
tries.
this,
but it at least tries.
I love the beginning. I love the setup. I love the premise of Voyager. I think it's amazing. But then they made it into the blandest cheeseball stuff ever. If that show had been, what was the circuits again? They were some kind of organic biobag circuits, right?
Bioneural.
Do an episode about where that's. You fly through a quantum string, and all of a sudden, all the bio stuff in the bags becomes sentient again, and
there is an
there's
episode.
a dead kid who drowned saving his dog, and there's his.
One of the best Voyager episodes is about the bioneural circuitry gets infected because of Neelix's cheese. Neelix gets this rare kind of cheese, and it infects the bioneural circuitry with mold, right? But it's one of the best Voyager episodes because what happens is the little
Nice.
mold spores become
Yeah.
like these crazy big, like death machines, right? Like big mosquitoes, right? One cell, like big mosquitoes, and they fly around the ship, right? And Janeway is away at the time, and she comes back, and she's like, "What the
Ugh.
fuck's going on with the ship?" Everyone's in like this weird coma, like she doesn't know what's going on. There's these big bugs everywhere, right? So she gets the doctor, and the doctor pretends he tries to decoy these big bugs, right? But he's not like a real thing, so it doesn't work, right? So Janeway fucking goes ham all over the fucking ship. She rips off her shirt. She's wearing her tank top, right? She's got her big ass gun, and she's like, "I'm gonna kill every single one of these motherfuckers." Right, and she's crawling through the ducts. Dude, it's fucking amazing. It's one of the best. It's called Macrocosm. It's one of the best episodes in Voyager history. I highly recommend you watch that instead of Star Trek Prodigy.
See, all that you just described made me go, yeah, that's like where they have sex when they became space crocodiles, right? It's just
That's a great
that show
episode.
should-
Are you kidding? I can't stand people who shit on Threshold. Threshold is a great episode. All right. I'm sorry. Tom Paris is the Chuck Yeager of Star Trek. All right.
okay.
And as we all
He's got
know-
a plate.
I mean, he does go warp 10. That's crazy, right? How many other people have been warp 10? Not Michael Burnham. She sucks.
I just think that I think Voyager, if they had done Star Trek Band of Brothers, I would have loved that. Like that whole first season should have been getting the Maquis under control, right?
I
Like,
agree with that.
The end of the first episode is like Chakotay in a Starfleet uniform. I mean, sorry. The end of that show should have been like the Voyager is like got alien tech all over it, and just the end of this all this freaking crazy shit. Janeway should have been had a peg leg and an eye patch, and you know, it's the crew. The bridge crew should have been 4 people. You had no idea who they were until season 7. Like that's how getting home is. Instead of this just going, oh, let's do some stuff, and no, the Borg took us there. Okay, great. Like,
Well,
wait,
I agree.
what?
I agree with all that. I agree with all
Yeah,
that.
so that's why I can't take Voyager. It's just
No, I agree with all that. My
and what they
cat
did
is
to Harry
playing-
Kim
Yeah.
was hilarious.
What? Just keeping him an ensign?
No, not just that, but like when he died, and then they brought back a
Yeah.
duplicate, nobody mentions it again. Like,
It's like,
how
yeah,
is
you're boring.
how is that not? I know, like it doesn't even matter. It's like, well, you just move the best man over when you get married. It doesn't matter. Like, as long as the
Next
bride is
man.
happy.
Right. It's funny. Yeah, no. But I mean, Voyager gets shit on. I mean, look, Voyager is not the greatest thing in the world. All right. But it's not as bad as people think. It has really bad episodes. Don't get me wrong. But it also has some like weird experimental episodes. And then let's not forget they brought in Jerry Ryan and put her in the skimpiest outfit possible, because there's one thing we know about Star Trek: it's progressive.
Verified.
I love that. I love that whole thing that what's that actress's name? Kate Mulgrew and Jerry Ryan just kind of didn't get along based on
shocked.
but the jobs that they're brought in to do are actually in conflict, right? So you can see where somebody who had been there for 3 years or whatever is gonna not like that. But also you can see where the person coming in going like, I got a gig here. Why are you mad at me? And so
it's not Jerry Ryan's fault.
That tension between the two actresses in their scenes just always kind of bugged me, because it was like,
I think it's great.
Yeah, I know, but except when they're saying something nice to each other, it makes me think,
that doesn't work.
You don't mean that.
That's true. But yeah, anyway, Leonardo da Vinci is a recurring character, so it's a great show.
The whole thing with Kez's drug problem, though, and just the Tuvix thing, it's just I don't look at
Tuvix
that.
is Tuvix is an amazing episode. All right, Tuvix is, how like in DS9 in the pilot episode, right? He's like, oh, I hate you, Picard, right? Because you killed my wife because you were Locutus, right? And immediately, then the Star Trek Enterprise flies away, and you're like, oh shit! Now we're left with this crew that fucking hates Captain Picard. Like, what do we do with this, right? Well, that was their moment. Tuvix was their moment when they're like, we are not the next generation, okay? Because Picard would have found some way to keep like all three of them, right? Data would have been like, oh, the probability of whatever the fuck, right? Janeway is like, nope. Tuvix, you're dead, right? We are killing the fuck out of Tuvix. Whatever happened to the plant, by the way? That's always my question, right? Because the three of them, they merged with the plants. That was the problem. But when they extrapolated each other, the plant didn't come out, right? So where'd the plant go?
It's part of the matter of the...
Is it just part of them? They just are part plant now? That always bugged me.
That's what I figured.
But Janeway is like, no, I need Tuvok back. I fucking hate Neelix, but I need him back, right? Because Kes is whining, right? So guess what? And fucking that scene, dude, I'm sorry. That scene of Tuvix walking down the fucking the corridor going, this is murder! You all know this is murder! Right? Fucking cold! She is cold! Janeway is fucking cold. I love it. She's the second best captain in the franchise after James T. Kirk. I will fight anyone. Fight anyone.
Well,
put Picard in Tuvix and see how it turns out.
That's why I brought that up, because I know that you think that, and I'm pretty sure that's a minority opinion. That Janeway is
inaccurate.
It is.
Data in error.
Where's Dantron?
Where?
I want to know
He's over
Dantron's
there,
favorite character. Who's your favorite captain, Dantron?
Well, that's a great question, Larry.
It's not Janeway. That's all you have to say, right?
There's only one captain in my book. It's got to be Kirk. Well, Pike was the most boring. I'm gonna say, like, forget about Pike. Just he couldn't even make it past the pilot. They're like, Ixnay, this guy, bring in that dude from the Twilight Zone. We know he can emote. We brought him in. Take Pike, stick him in a stupid robot wheelchair, and slap some prosthetics on him. That's all we need out of that guy. When did we ever see from that guy again? He's bummed. I tell you, this patron saint, the savior of Star Trek, guys, in my opinion, you know who it is, Larry.
You.
It's Lucy.
It's
Lucy.
You put us on the YouTube, on the internet.
That's true. It's true.
So you're the patron
it's Lucy.
saint.
Lucy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course.
She campaigned to bring Star Trek back.
That's right.
Genius.
Lucy is the best captain in Star Trek history.
Bingo. Exactly. That's what I want. That's what I was going with that somewhere.
Wouldn't that have been cool if she was an admiral or a commodore or something that just on a view screen?
Well, did they ever reference? Did they ever have a planet Desilu?
Well, you saw it. It was the bad robot of its day, right?
In my fan fiction that we do, but not canon. No.
Yeah, they should have been like Desilu 6 or whatever.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
This is Desilu 6 or whatever.
And it's full of just big Cuban guys and little blondes,
Kurtzman would do that. God, and Picard.
Kurtzman would definitely do that. Kurtzman would do that.
The guy in the pimp suit.
Fucking moron.
Well, talk about breaking down barriers, though. When you think about it, Star Trek broke barriers, racial barriers on television, and so did I Love Lucy. Racial marriage on television, first pregnancies on television. They broke a lot of barriers, man. I am giving it up for Lucy and Desi, who gets a short shrift.
Yeah.
3 cheers for Desilu. Yeah. No, I agree. So Prodigy is interesting because, is it though? I was really bored.
Let's see. What did I write down? Can I read that thing I wrote? Obviously, Prodigy is all about the audience who's sampling Star Trek for the first time. The big dang against it is Star Trek's apparently intimidating to the kids with its 6 decades and 800 hours of episodes to worry about. I was talking to my kid about that because he's like, I don't want to do homework about Dune. And I was like, well, what about, Star Trek is just nothing but homework. And he goes, yeah, but like if there's anything that I don't know from seeing, he's probably seen 30 of the 79 old episodes, and it's the ones that I tell him these are the ones you need to know about. They don't really refer to stuff really deep down except on Lower Decks. And then he just turns to me and he goes, "What's that about?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's a referring to the old cartoon, or that's a toy you could get."
Yeah.
That's a guy. He loved that Sonia Gomez showed up in the finale because we had seen that one.
It's a good one.
Yeah, and I was like,
Q who? Yeah.
Yeah. So so that's the homework thing the kids don't want to do, but man, it says Star Trek Prodigy. I'm just not feeling like Star Trek yet.
Well, like I said, the third episode was cool because it was like, hey, there's a space anomaly that we need to get ourselves out of, right? But this whole overarching thing, and I understand they need to have a story, they need to have characters, I guess, whatever, right? I get it, but like, I don't understand the prison thing. Like, do kids identify with escaped prisoners? I don't have kids. So I don't know.
When you were a kid, didn't you feel like the adult world though was just like all?
That's true. That's a good point. It's a metaphor. I get it.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. It's good. Yeah.
But I just you found a working starship, just like a half a day's ride outside of where you were mining. That seems
it was the bad guy.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's like I'm sorry about Cameron's dad's Porsche, right? Like that's what you get for leaving it out like that.
And I guess I like the fact that like these are kids who are going to have so much fun that they're going to want to join the Federation and Starfleet, which is a good message for kids, little like 5-year-old kids watching this. Be like, yeah, you should want to join Starfleet and the Federation. Like these are ideals you should want to learn about and live up to.
You should join the military and seek the utter domination of the rest of the galaxy. If there's any places we have not been to and exposed to our culture. And when you think about it, how much of the Starfleet Federation, like all the ranks and stuff and all, that's all human stuff. So like human culture must have really taken over the Federation. Like once they absorbed us in there, all our militaristic culture took over, and all the ranks and insignias and all that stuff. That's human stuff, right?
Yeah, you don't see Vulcan ranks ever. Yeah, I mean, I would hope humans take over. This is a human-centric planet.
Yeah. Easy for you to say, Pinky.
I was waiting for it.
Real easy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well,
you're not the
good.
one shoveling Gorn droppings, You're not the one who has to take care of all the dirty work. You're not the one scraping the floor of the holodeck every morning. Somebody's got to do that.
Look, man, I was an ensign once, I moved past it. Now I'm a commander, So maybe one day you will be too. I don't know. If you play your cards right and get past the layers of institutional bigotry,
that's what makes me think that Prodigy is more Star Wars than Star Trek, though, because you're making fun of that, but that's a hallmark of Star Trek. It's like there isn't anybody shoveling out the Gorn stuff because we have technology to take care of that.
Yeah,
and in Star Wars you got Broom Boy, going, oh, I wish I had the Force, so here's my broom. So that's kind of why I like Star Trek. It's like, yeah, life, because it's escapist entertainment, right? You want to escape all the crazy shit that you have to deal with and think, you know what? In the future, they figured it out. I don't kind of care why. Just let's go. And that's why I just hope that Strange New Worlds does episodes, because I don't care about that long story thing.
Well, and what's the phraseology we use, right? The Star Wars universe feels like a lived-in universe, right? That's how we phrase it in like pop culture analysis, right? Whereas Star Trek is this utopian future, which we already talked about that last week. That's nonsense. But I'm talking about just the pop culture phraseology about it. And TJF has a good point here. Prodigy looks and feels like a Star Wars ripoff. I mean, It is. I mean, it is. I mean, it's very clearly it's mimicking a show like Rebels, which I love Rebels. I think Rebels is great, but I'm also not a kid, and it's also Star Wars. So
I love he wants to see a whole show set on the Romulan Warbird. I would love that too.
that'd be awesome. The Romulans
Just
are
like-
cool.
That's a Larry style concept.
That's it's Star Trek Hunt for Red October. That's all that is.
Oh my
Exactly.
god,
Give
That's
it to
it.
me.
That's it.
Give it
we
to
should
course
write
it
that
is.
movie right now.
Dantron's so funny. Oh, Larry speaks in high concept ideas, as you know. Evolved. Oh yeah, exactly. The cool alien tech. I agree 100%. That just Voyager shouldn't have been so clean at the end. If you're gonna do an entire show that's just trying to get home, that there has to be a toll.
Well, what
I
if
was in
I
with
mean,
the
will
terrorists
Prodigy?
and Chakotay? Yeah, sorry, dude. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, will Prodigy fix? I mean, it's very clearly a Voyager plus kind of show, right? It's set after Voyager. It references Voyager multiple times already. Are they going to fix that sort of mistake where the what is it called, the proto orb, the protostar? It's going to.
Just say proto-whore.
that was a bit of a Freudian slip there, fellas. But the
Yeah.
protostar, maybe it'll start to like get like a little dingy and more lived in, as the kids say.
She did have the holodeck had that line today though that I'm here to take care of the lower functions of the ship, and I was like
No,
that's gonna so they just kind of explained why 7 kids can run a starship because the holodeck is running everything, but I mean not the holodeck, you know what I mean.
that's like that stupid
Uh,
Star Trek Picard show with with that guy who runs his own ship, the fake Han Solo guy, and like he has like 7 hollow clones of himself.
Right,
It's like,
right.
what? Stop! And then they got the androids are a slave race all of a sudden. Like, stop with the class shit. All right,
Yeah.
for God's sake, visit a goddamn planet.
Yeah, that whole thing just soured me on Picard. Yeah.
It's awful. I mean, it's not even right, because dystopian. People think dystopian means dark. Dystopian doesn't mean dark, like physically dark, right? It means that the society is built in a way that you are unable to escape it or advance through it, or it has some sort of sinister like thing going on, right? It doesn't mean it's physically dark, Jason Isaacs, you fucking moron.
Well, actors.
They shouldn't let actors do interviews. They really shouldn't. I don't care what actors say.
I could not agree more.
Except
you know-
Raffi. I'm really glad that Raffi is now canon.
I loved Last Ship, but there was when
Mhm.
Dr. McSteamy there says, yeah, the 80% of the world has been decimated. I just was like, hey, man.
The sources, and dictionaries would help a lot of people.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, 80% decimated. 80% is missing 1 out of 10.
Right. I mean, I guess. I was told there'd be no math. I don't know.
Right? Dude,
Yeah.
math is awful.
So
That's what
where
we
are
got
you on
computers
Prodigy?
for here in the future?
Prodigy, yes or no so far? Kinda?
I mean,
Maybe?
I'm gonna keep watching,
Uh-oh.
until it pisses me off, and I won't.
I
I hate this
told
third. Real quick? Why are they doing this Thursday release schedule? They've been doing that since Discovery, and it fucking drives me nuts. Like, real people aren't just sitting around on Thursdays being like, "Oh, let me check out the new bullshit." No, man, we got lives and jobs and shit.
I'll tell you exactly what it is from a marketing standpoint.
Yes, please,
Like,
please.
When you went to college, when did you start? When did the weekend start? It's like Thursday at 10
I'm
o'clock.
probably the
at
wrong
night,
person
right?
to ask.
well-
Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah,
Thursday at
something
10 o'clock is when we started. When we started it, we watch LA Law and then we go out. And
like that. Are kids in
that's-
college though?
but
Okay, I'm
it's
sorry.
kind of-
I'm sorry.
The argument from a marketing standpoint is that that's what people are doing that are trying to escape their stuff. So you put it on Thursdays for people like you and me. They're like, okay, we're going to drop what we're doing because Thursday's Star Trek Day. that works for a portion of people, right? And then it's like then you have Thursday and all the guys coming into work on Friday go, oh, I watched Star Trek, and the Friday guys go, fuck, I got to do that. So you sort of have like a 4-day discussion window across social media instead of just 24 hours if you did it like on a Tuesday. That said, Thursday, really?
Right.
I would do Monday so you get all week talking about it, but that's
right. Wouldn't that make more sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about marketing. I'm just a simple man.
You are a PhD in Star Trek, though.
That's correct.
That's real. That's not a so.
Yes. I will say, if I stumbled upon an empty cadet ship with 3 of my friends, I would know exactly how to run that ship. That's all I'm saying.
That's why Prodigy is not for Star Trek fans. Because you're like
right
the whole time. Because I was having that thought too the whole time. I'm like, oh well, we don't need that holodeck thing.
No, why would you divert all power to? No, that's stupid. Don't do that, you moron. You know, you reinforce the shields. You put inertial dampeners. Like, what the fuck? Come on, man.
I like the kid made the error that just injecting mass was gonna solve the problem. But
then he gets rid of all his escape pods. What a fucking idiot.
It's part of the mass is your escape pods. It's like, dude, really? Did you think that one all the way through?
Have you taken AP Physics? Come on, buddy. Let's go.
Right. Just watch a couple of Star Treks. Anybody knows?
Right? Just watch Star Trek, Kurtzman, you moron. All right. Anyway. That's enough, Kurtzman. Kurtzman just needs to give Eugene his guitar back. Like, it's insane that he actually... Agree. It's insane that he actually stole our friend's guitar. Like, that's crazy.
I can't agree more. It's an outrage.
It's ridiculous. He's an awful person. Okay, so yes, I will keep watching Prodigy until I don't.
So the audience can tell. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it just to watch the train wreck. I'm watching Picard season 2, which I actively hate, just to see what they do.
I don't know if I can do it, man.
I wasn't gonna watch Prodigy, and I told John Suentes I would, and I did, and I hated it. And then I watched this one just to get ready for our show, and it wasn't so bad. Yeah. And it's not. It's the show. It's not like I was in a bad mood. I was in a good mood or approachable, whatever. It's just this has a little more Star Trek in it. Keep giving me some more Star Trek. I'll be excited. That's the thing I hate about when we talk sometimes. It's like everybody doesn't know that like we are giant Star Trek fans. And it's like, no, you guys are haters. And like, no, we're Star Trek lovers. That's why we're so mad.
I wore this the day of my wedding.
Did you really?
Not walking down the aisle, but when I was just hanging out, I'm like, yeah, I got my Star Trek stuff on,
So, guys, what do you think of that? What do you think of that Star Wars fan movement, like the open letter to like get rid of Kathleen Kennedy or whatever? Do you feel
those
like
people are idiots?
Well, I mean, don't you feel that way about Kurtzman or whatever? Is there that kind of movement to get rid of to oust a dude?
The difference, in my opinion, is that these people think they're going to affect Disney so much that they get rid of Kathleen Kennedy. I know I'm not going to affect Paramount to getting rid of Alex Kurtzman. That's the big difference. Like, these people are deluded into thinking that the most successful producer, possibly of all time, is going to get the fuck out of here. Like, do you know how many billions of dollars she has made? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'd make them even more general in that I think it's Star Trek fans are just smarter than Star Wars fans.
Yeah,
well, that's
for the reason you say. Like, the Star Wars fans think that that's going to do anything. Star Trek fans aren't gonna. They're not gonna waste their time on trying to change like the front office. They're gonna just vote with their wallets, like they always have, and it just that's what's gonna do it.
Well, so, and it's like I was talking about last week, right? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just
I was just gonna say it. I love Star Wars fans too. It's just it sounds a little stressful. I'm a Star Wars fan. It's just it's the younger Star Wars fans versus the younger Star Trek fans.
That's
Star Wars proved it to be that all it takes is one really good new spin, like Mandalorian came out, and I was right back in. I hadn't seen any of those movies. I don't care about it. Star Wars is big enough now you can pick your slice. And I think that's where they're going with this Star Trek stuff. They're like, we need to hit those younger kids, or because they're seeing the benefits that paid off from all that Clone Wars stuff being such a big hit. Those people are actually young parents now, a lot of them.
That's true.
I get it, but just make Star Trek appeal to kids and not.
That's the.
Not.
Well,
make,
I mean, maybe Prodigy will be. Maybe Prodigy will be that sort of thing. Lower Decks certainly is, in my opinion. I mean, it's a little bit. It's a little bit more mature, but I mean, it's certainly a good way. If you've never seen Star Trek, you can watch Lower Decks and start getting it. You know, I was just gonna say the thing with Star Wars fans is they seem obsessed with the corporate side. Whereas Star Trek fans, like we were talking about last week, you know, I did that whole thing about Axanar and everything. Star Trek fans just make their own. They're like, yeah, we're gonna make fan films, and we're gonna write fan fiction, and we're gonna make our own multiverse in Blender. You know, like they just make their own stuff. Like Trek Yards is an amazing channel and community, like online community, because it's just these people who just sit around drawing starships all day, and they come up with backstories, and they come up with all their little, like, you know, what the ship is, what class it is, how many tools it's got, you know, it's stuff cool like that. I don't see Star Wars fans doing that anymore. Like Star Wars is you know, famous for being everyone started making fan films after Star Wars. Yeah, but those people are now like in their 50s and 60s and aren't making fan films. And the new ones, the people who started with the prequels, aren't doing that, because you can't make fan films of the prequels because it's all CGI bullshit, right? Am I wrong? I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
There's a guy who just got married.
There's a guy who just got married.
Although I will say, man, the technology now has become better. We're going to start seeing, I think we're going to start to see some of these big franchises start to lose their luster as attention is getting divided and diffused from a few major things into just this cloud of what is awesome. Nobody's going to care if it's Star Wars or not. They're just going to care, wow, that was an amazing sci-fi movie.
I agree. I think The Expanse is a perfect example of that, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have to read those books at all to enjoy The Expanse. I mean, I didn't read it, or excuse me, I didn't see it until well after it started, and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like, I just want to keep watching. Like, I'm not going to sit around dreaming of living in the Expanse universe, because that would be awful, like I do Star Trek. But I'm like, hey, this is a cool sci-fi thing. I look forward to this sci-fi thing, you know? That's it. Red alert!
Uh-oh. Guys, that sound means we're out of time.
That's it.
How do we stop it? Okay.
We have to go to our stations.
Guys, wrap it up. Where do they find your stuff? Larry, where do they find your stuff?
On the internet. Right now, I'm minding my own business. I just cleaned up the Halloween thing that we had out front of the house. So that's what I'm doing. I'll get my stuff together. I'll probably have an announcement next week, actually.
John, what kind of
an announcement from Larry Young? Here we go.
John,
yeah, I guess Twitter at the John Price. Probably the best way to get me. I'm on Twitter all the time, even when I should be working.
Yeah, so, but you blocked everyone. You blocked everyone on Twitter.
That's true. For a minute, I was trying to get a job, and I'm like, maybe people shouldn't see my curse-filled rants. But it's not going to happen. So, you know, it happens. So yeah, that's about it. After that,
guys, when are we doing this again? We coming back next week?
Yeah, baby. Episode 3 next week, right?
Okay, we're gonna have to talk about timing. We'll have to talk about timing a little bit, but
we'll figure it out.
Dantron is on board.
Thank you, Dantron. Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Dantron.
You got it. Thanks, everybody out there.
And watch your post office box. Can you say it on here? P.O. Box.
Sure, why not? I should. Why not? You know what? If you got stuff that you want to see on this here channel, I mean, it's on this channel. Where do you send it? Hang on a second. I can do this. Bam! $1 million mailbox. P.O. Box. $1 million mailbox. 1163 Arcata, California 95518. Next week, I'm going to be looking at, I'm going to be talking to Daniel Moeller from Psychonaut Presents. Larry, we reviewed his first 2 Psychonaut comics, and he sent me 2 more. And so
Excellent.
The cycle continues.
So I was just going to tell you, watch that P.O. box because Green Arrow is sending you something.
Awesome. I can't wait for that. Thank you.
Don't-
Thanks, everybody. We
Don't
gotta
forget
get
to
outta
like
here.
and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Hit the bell.
Yeah,
Hit
bash
that
that
bell
bell.
icon, assholes. Do it.
Shucks. Great. We'll see you next time. Here, I'm gonna do this.